Steam Greenlight is absolute shit. For almost 5 years now, yes, it's been that long, Greenlight has been abused and gamed by dodgy developers. Valve itself has even been saying for years that it's just not working.
Steam has been absolutely flooded with trash titles, asset flips and cheap clones since the community voting system was introduced in 2012. But now that Valve is finally getting rid of Steam Greenlight, are we about to be hit by something even worse?
Greenlight works by allowing developers to submit their games onto Steam for consideration by the community. If they get enough support from users, Valve will help that game get published on Steam. The only problem is, it is incredibly easy to game and has been widely abused. This has led to a serious oversaturation of the Steam store, and it's only been getting worse. Last year alone saw the release of nearly 40% of Steam's entire library. That's well over a third of every game ever released on Steam coming out in just 1 year. That is a problem. Gabe Newell even said back in 2013, less than a year after the system had been launched, that Greenlight was a bad example of the election process and that it's probably bad for the Steam community in the long run. Yeah, so Steam Greenlight, it's just a way for the community to have a vote, have a say, and show their support for ideas for games essentially that they think sound cool. And it is also conveniently a way for Valve to have some sort of curation on Steam without them having to curate things which they're just not into. They do not want to be controlling what is allowed and what isn't allowed on Steam for some reason.
So the idea is a sound one. It allows indie developers or up-and-coming developers without a publisher to publish their games to get access to publish their games on Steam. In essence, it's a good thing. It was set up for a good reason, but it just doesn't work. It's flooded the market with loads of trash titles, cheap copies.
Well, yeah, it's a noble concept, at least from Valve. It's a good idea to let these, essentially just guys in their bedroom they've got no publisher backing. They never see the light of day without kind of Steam Greenlight. And Valve do kind of stress the point that I think it was about 100 Steam games have actually made $1 million. So each of these 100. So that's $100 million from Steam Greenlight. That, whether or not those games were any good is a little bit beside the point when you look at it financially, because that is a lot of money.
It's a little surprised that Valve are finally pulling the plug on Greenlight, but what are they replacing it with? Steam Direct is the new system which will offer a much simpler path for games to reach publication. As the name suggests, devs can submit their games direct to Valve for publishing on Steam. All that will stand in their way is some digital paperwork and a small fee of between $100 and $5,000. No more Greenlight, no more community vote. Valve hasn't decided on an exact figure for submission fees yet, but my god, is it important that they get it right. Nearer $5,000 would be great, in that it would stop the majority of scammers dead in their tracks. But a high fee like this could prevent smaller, talented indie studios from getting their names out there without crowdsourcing the cash. A low fee, on the other hand, would signal open season on Steam. Good games are already being buried by the sheer quantities of title on Steam's storefront. Imagine what it'd be like without the modest community curation of Steam Greenlight. So Valve need to get their submission fee right on this, but it's a damn tricky line to balance.
And that is the real question, really. How do you enable the smaller creators, the smaller indie guy in a bedroom kind of developers? How do you enable them, get their ideas out there, and block the scammers at the same time? And this fee is kind of crucial for Valve. It's quite difficult to balance.
The barrier has to be the right height, basically.
They've got to get it high enough so that they get people who are committed to the idea. They're willing to put down maybe a couple of grand to see their kind of dreams kind of realised. Maybe they'll crowdsource a bit of that money, which would kind of take it back to the Steam Greenlight model a little bit, in that they're relying on community support. But it would just be more effort for scammers, basically. It wouldn't be as easy as slapping $100 right down and then just seeing what kind of you can get away with.
One thing's for certain, Steam Greenlight didn't work as it was intended.
No.
Or they're taking measures to try and change it and to come up with something new, fresh, just to see if this works. Is great, and well done for Valve for implementing this new thing. It remains to be seen whether this is enough or whether we're still going to be flooded with shitty trash games in future.
What they're likely to do, in my opinion, is they're going to try and manage the storefront like they've been doing. They released the Discovery Update 2.0. They give it a bit of a makeover, and they kind of tried to line up your interests and stuff and make it easier for better, more popular games to rise to the top. That's what I think they'll fall back on. I think they'll just let everything through, but they'll curate the front page of the store so that it's easier to find the actual good games.
So one thing to note is that the fee that gets paid is recoverable, so they can get it back.
If they are committed to this, and maybe they put some of their savings down or something, they're kind of putting it on the line. Say it's $2,000, right? they don't lose that $2,000. They'll get it back if they reach some sales targets, which Valve haven't disclosed yet. So there's going to be a kind of incentive for the game to do well. If it does do well, they'll get that fee back, which is pretty cool.
If you ask us, Steam is an awesome place to get games from. It just enables people to get the games really quickly and easily. It allows developers to publish their games when otherwise they wouldn't be able to. A couple of problems with Steam though is that the market is saturated, and hopefully this will go some ways to helping that. Another problem with Steam, if you ask me, is that you can't rely on some of the user ratings sometimes, and maybe that they should take steps to remedy that. I've played games in the past that have been rated like 98%. And they were absolute trash. Yeah. It's like user ratings, I don't trust them basically.
But that's a good point though. That touches on a broader thing of Valve's kind of philosophy with Steam. They've built this and they've built like a framework here, and they're leaving everything up to the community, to the industry to run it. And Steam are just putting things in place and then leaving it, and that's what their philosophy is.
Yeah, but there's one important question that we haven't answered yet, Mike. What the hell is Jim Sterling going to make his videos about?
Oh yeah,
who's he going to complain about now? Yeah. I'm sure he'll find something else to moan about.
Valve is obviously reluctant to take on any quality control responsibilities at all here. Steam was at one time as tightly regulated as it gets, with nothing but big publisher-backed AAA games and the biggest, most popular indie titles actually available to buy. Valve have moved on from that philosophy to be more about direct distribution, and they seem terrified to go back to anything else.
But if you ask us, at least a sliver of quality control wouldn't go amiss. Just a basic check to see if the game is a Unity store bought asset flip or not. Is it a Flappy Bird ripoff? Does it feature any basic gameplay? There must be something Valve can do to filter out this cat shit. I'm saying cat shit now because apparently, according to the viewers, cat shit's worse.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah.
Is that
well, I think on balance.
Honestly, we kind of respect Valve's position of not declaring what is and isn't a good game. They said it themselves when they announced Steam Direct that we're all different and we all like different games. That's kind of no good if we can't find the games that we do like.
Valve just need to be a little more hands-on and make sure that games meet certain criteria before they get published on Steam. Otherwise, if they set the submission fee too low, we could be in for one hell of an avalanche of shit games. Because, God knows, we're already snowed under.
So, what do you think about this, guys? Is Valve doing the right thing in scrapping Steam Greenlight? What do you think about Steam Direct? Let us know down in the comments. Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. Please check out more of our content right here. That'll be great. We'll see you next time.